Oh, yeah. It's a Wednesday. As they used to say in the business, hump day, Barrett.
Hump day.
Hump day in the middle. Yeah, right. You're Mr. Commercial. You love that commercial, probably. But, it's kind of that midweek, bye week. It's like really a big sort of lull in the sports calendar here in Philadelphia. And we got some lingering issues that we can choose to drag on. And then I found out from Xander that there's very good reason to drag on a little Minshew mania discussion, because one Jimmy Johnson, the Jimmy Johnson, not the race car driver, the football coach,
yes,
was on with Big Sills yesterday, and apparently had some glowing praise for Mr. Minshew. So we're going to get to that on this show. And we've also got Mike Gill, our buddy from 97.3 down in Atlantic City, wrote a piece on his on their website about Minshew Mania and compared it to the holiday season. I thought it was brilliant. I read it, and I want to bring Mike on today. So he's going to join us at 12:30 to talk about that and anything else that might be on his mind. And then, of course, we got Jason Martinez. We got to bring him on to discuss a little bit of this Flyers situation, because that is one of the other issues in the Philadelphia sports scene. Like it or not, the Flyers still need a coach. They've got an interim guy right now that we know is probably not the guy, and they've got plenty of issues, and we're going to discuss that and some other stuff with Jason at noon. So between now and then, Barrett, we've got a couple of things to kick around. Ben Simmons, the Flyers, Minshew, all that kind of good stuff.
At this point, Minshew is only going to have steam because we're not playing. Once Hurts gets back into the saddle,
I agree,
we'll forget about it.
Right. If we had the Washington football team on deck this Sunday, we would probably not be talking much about Minshew. I agree.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. But, I mean, he did play well. We can't deny that fact.
No, he did.
And, everybody say, oh, it's just the Jets.
Yeah.
The Jets' worst player can outplay a whole lot of people. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He's still an NFL pro.
Right. And I will say it's just the Jets. But I also said when Jalen Hurts had that great game week 1 against the Falcons, it's just the Falcons.
Right. Exactly.
So we got to be fair. I said the same about both. And I'm still sticking by my thought right now that I don't think either one of these guys, Hurts above Minshew, is the guy.
Well, it depends on what the guy and how we define it. See, that's what a lot of people aren't doing. They're not defining what they see as the guy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
like a franchise guy.
Well, it's a franchise guy, but you can have a guy that's winning a lot of games, but you don't consider him a franchise guy. A lot of people don't differentiate between a guy that's successful on the field, which a guy that can go out there and maintain the offense, can run the offense. You don't have to worry about him. He's not going to make mistakes. He's not going to make any turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to go out there, do his job, facilitate the offense. Then you have guys that go out there and they can win a game by themselves.
Right.
Those come few and far between. You can't just get them out the local Cracker Jack box.
No, I know, but that's what I want, and that's what I demand.
Well, I'm not like my pops used to tell me, hell, people in hell want ice water. You got to just find that. You got to go pull it out of your pocket. Seriously, man. I mean, trying to find what we deem a franchise quarterback is just so hard, man. And just like Tom Brady, Belichick just found a diamond in the rough. He found the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? He found the unicorn in a draft that didn't really have quarterbacks that were lighting things up.
Right.
The chance of the Eagles finding that, I don't know. I mean, you see Pickett being that guy?
I don't know. I mean,
how? No, I don't see neither one of those guys, and those are the two best guys in this draft.
Right now. Now they might develop that Carson Strong ends up with a great combine or something and gets shoved above Howell or some other guy that out of nowhere that maybe Desmond Ridder has a great bowl game, against Alabama. Like what if Desmond Ridder throws for 300 plus on the Alabama defense and for a couple touchdowns? Doesn't even have to win the game, but just has a really good game. All of a sudden, everybody's going to be all like Riddered up,
as they should if he does that.
Right.
As he should if he does that. If he goes out and tosses the ball against that defense.
Right.
then he's the real deal.
Right.
Just like Carson Strong. I was, thinking about Carson Strong, and then I did his bowl game. I mean, I did his game against Kansas State.
Right.
They rendered him almost useless out there by just blitzing him right up the middle.
Mm-hmm.
It was his kryptonite because he's not really a guy that has a lot of functional mobility.
Okay.
He's an immobile quarterback. He sits back in the pocket, 6'6", can toss the ball around. He's the, Dan Marino of the draft. But I mean, can you have those type of quarterbacks now in this new league? I mean, when I played, linebackers were like 250, 260.
Mm-hmm.
Now linebackers are small. Now linebackers are around 220, 225, 230. And fast as all outdoors because they have to cover so well.
Right.
You can't have that big, linebacker back there who's just going to stop the run. You got to be able to, go out there and stop the pass. And that's the difference between having that type of, immobile quarterback back then and what you have now.
Mm-hmm.
Running backs ran the ball. These days
Right.
is different. They came up the ladder. They went up the ladder with these new college coaches and this spread offense and having read option quarterbacks. All that stuff has made its way into the league right now. So what do defenders do? What do defensive coordinators do to stop it? They go out and find smaller, faster linebackers that can cover, kind of almost like a safety, but still big enough to be in the box to stop the run. So you have to evolve with what's going on in the league, and that's what's going on. They're trying to evolve all that. So we'll see, man.
Well, yeah. I mean, I would love to be able to remember, to recall back in 2001, Tom Brady's season, game by game by game, to see, what I would have been saying as, well, he's not the guy yet, or you know what I mean? Eventually he became the guy. I get all that. And maybe Jalen Hurts will. Okay. I'm open-minded enough to think that. But at this point, I just need a guy that's more accurate, number one.
Yes.
I'm not as concerned. It's great that he can run and make plays, on the fly with his legs. That's awesome. It's a great skill set to have, in addition to being a more accurate thrower and sort of a pre-snap reader at the line of scrimmage. And granted, I know he can get better at that. I don't know that he can become more accurate just with his arm, but maybe, like you said yesterday, he can become more accurate because he's a better pre-snap read guy and can determine right away where he wants to go with the ball based upon the defense that they're showing him. So I agree with that.
When he first started out in college football, they didn't ask him to do that.
Right.
So it's going to take him a little bit to learn that. A lot of these quarterbacks that come out the league now weren't taught pre-snap reads because they don't have pre-snap reads, because when you spread everybody out in these spread offenses, it's already unfolded in front of you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you don't have to read a quarterback. You don't have to read the safety. You don't have to read all that stuff.
Right. They're not as
a lot
exotic.
Exactly.
Defense,
exactly. You playing against a guy, a team like back in the day when we played against the Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the hardest defenses to read because they wouldn't give you anything. They would have everybody standing up in a ball.
Right.
2 seconds before the ball is supposed to snap. And then all of a sudden, when they think you're gonna snap it, they'll run to their place.
Almost like a sugar huddle.
Yes, that's what it was. That's exactly what it was, Harry.
Yeah.
Now, can you imagine that you're trying to play against game plan Ray Lewis,
right, in a sugar huddle, and you don't even know where he's gonna line up.
You don't know where the hell they end up. You may turn around and look up, and I'm a left tackle, and I'm looking at Saragusa, who plays the nose, out there on me. Then I got Ray Lewis. He might be playing deep safety. They had so many different exotic blitzes, man. They had McAllister out there at cornerback.
Mm-hmm.
They had a squad, man. Dion was out there for a little bit.
Right.
They just had so many exotic blitzes, and they came from so many different places. One time, reason why Ben Roethlisberger got his start, we're playing the Ravens, the second game of the season. We won the first game. The second game of the season, we're playing the Ravens. Tommy Maddox, he ripped the first team we played. He ripped them apart.
Mm-hmm.
Came into this into this Ravens game, and all of a sudden, at the snap of the ball, they're in this exotic blitz. They brought literally 7 people off the left side. 7 people. The right side was blocking nobody. There was nobody there to block. On that blitz, they knocked Tommy Maddox out of the game. That was history for Tommy Maddox. He never played another step after that in a Steeler uniform.
He went ahead and sold insurance, I think, after that.
Exactly. Seriously, he did. He did.
Yeah.
And from that point on, it was Ben Roethlisberger's show. He ran off, after we lost that game, he ran off 13 straight games. But it was that blitz where they brought 7 people off one side and left the right side. If we'd have just ran right, nobody would have touched us. There was nobody literally on that side of the field.
Yeah.
So if I challenged, I challenged people to look at that play.
They had all the guys on the right side of the defense. In other words, the left side of the offensive line is what you're saying. So if you would have ran right, okay, gotcha.
Ran to the offenses,
Offensive right.
Yeah. But when you run that type of blitz, they had nobody. It's not even that you can't even call that a zone dog blitz because they were just like, all right, we just got to get there. If we don't get there, we're in trouble because there was nobody literally from the center on that side.
Right.
Nobody.
Yeah.
The right side is sitting there looking at each other while the left side was getting mashed on, running. Right. Everybody running free. They don't mean that's hard for, anybody to pick up.
Right.
Now he's a veteran quarterback. He couldn't pick it up.
A fire zone blitz or whatever. Yeah.
Fire zone. Yeah.
Fire zone. And did you see the video of Cooper Kupp after the game this past weekend being interviewed by somebody on, some sideline reporter, and he went into this whole detail about a play. My head was spinning.
Right. And you have to process that stuff right then and there. Yeah, well, it came with a fire zone blitz, but they had cover 3, but that's kind of.
I was like,
right. What? It took me a long time to talk in layman's terms so everybody could understand, because nobody really would know what a cover 3 is, fire zone blitz or MEB blitz, or if I say in cover 2 the corners have to stay in the flat area, they're squatting down. I could, I had to learn how not to talk like that so people could understand what I was talking about.
Right.
And you know how I did it? First, I was working on NFL films, and I was, talking with Jaws and Sterling Sharp, and they, and Baldy, and those guys, they told me, hey man, nobody really understands what you're saying. You got to, really stop and understand that these guys don't have the football knowledge that you have.
Right. You
have to, get them. You're trying to coach them. You're trying to teach them as like a teacher to learn that stuff. So now, they can understand what you're talking about. So I started doing that. But what really put me in a great place and trying to explain stuff to people is I was in a truck at ESPN, and I was a content producer for them. I used to
doing college games,
doing college football games, and I'm working with Todd Blackledge.
Right.
Now, Todd Blackledge, I had a direct link to him.
He's pretty good.
He's great.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
So I have a direct link to him during the game. And when I'd see stuff, he'd tell me, just get in his ear. It doesn't matter what he's doing. He can listen to me and talk at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd be in there.
That's a skill. That's a skill.
It's definitely. Yeah. So I'm trying to, I'm writing up this play, but I see what they're doing. I see what this college is doing. It was actually an Oregon game against Arizona. They have that Chip Kelly speed and, Rodriguez, they run a play after play.
Right. You don't even have time in between the plays to really analyze what they did. Yeah.
So he was having me talk to him and say, all right, look, they're running cover 3 right now, but instead of buzzing that linebacker out into the flats, they're making that corner sit down in flat. And I'm telling him that, and he's talking, and he said, yeah, well, if you look, they're running cover 3. Now, usually you would have a linebacker to be out there sitting down. He kind of had to buzz out there, but they're not doing that. And I'm like, how is he doing this?
Right.
I'm talking to him, and as I'm talking to him,
he's saying something else, and then as soon as right thereafter, he repeats back what you just told him.
Harry, how the hell do you do that?
It's hard.
How do you do that?
It's hard. Yeah.
When I hear, when I'm on my studio shows and I hear, it took me a while not to answer the the producer. Yeah,
Mikey Moles.
Mikey Moles be sitting there. Yeah, but what about this? And I'm like, yeah, what do you mean? And I'm thinking about, I can't say that because I'm on air. Right. I can't
answer him.
Right. At times I know it happens to Ray because Ray will answer him.
Oh, he will?
Stop asking. Yeah. If he asks Ray a question while we're on air, he will answer that question while we're on air, whether he's hot or the mic is hot or not, whether the show is going on or not. You know what I'm saying? So he knows not to talk to Ray, but he talks to me like that now that he understands. I won't say exactly. I won't answer the question right there.
That's phenomenal.
But Todd was unbelievable at taking what I was saying. I'm like, they're running counter trade, just like what the Hogs did,
Right.
I was saying, they're running counter trade. They're dudes blocking the front side, and they're pulling the backside guard tackle and that tight end around, and they're blocking back on the
Here comes Clint Didier.
Yeah, there you go. So I'm
Donnie
saying that
Warren.
right. And I'm telling him that, right? And he would say, after I say they're running that counter tray and they're pulling everybody, I'm telling who they are pulling. They say, yeah, this is just like back in the day with the old Redskins. And, and he's adding stuff. And it was amazing, man, how he was able to do that, man. That's one of the smartest guys I know as far as talking football and putting it to layman's terms.
Right. Now, I just sent Xander the Cooper Cup. I don't know if he got it, but I sent it to him. It's worth hearing because
real question.
It's great. I mean, he's rattling it off, man.
I speak that fluently, so you guys understand. I speak it fluently.
Right. Here we go. Decipher this.
Touchdown specifically. Your defender went and blitzed. What did you see there? How were you able to use that to your advantage?
Yeah, they just had a little 3 deep fire zone, brought the nickel off the edge, safety dropped down. It didn't look like they were doing a replacement fire zone, so I knew at the back away we were going to get 3 pushing through. I had an opportunity to kind of run in there if I could beat my guy and just had to beat the safety to the end zone.
Touchdown specifically,
wow.
your defender went.
What?
Exactly. Say fire zone. And once they brought that blitz, nobody replaced that blitz. So he was able to run through the outside, and the 2 receivers on the outside kind of stretched the defense. And that's why he was able to get it, through
he
the
found an open area.
Yeah. That's like somebody speaking Spanish. I don't know Spanish. So I'll be like, huh?
What?
Well, just like that. I understood what he was talking about, but putting that into layman's terms, that is crazy, man. But that's what football is, man. Like all these plays, like the worst person to call plays was John Gruden.
Oh yeah.
He had, man, it was like a dissertation. Every play was like a paragraph long.
Okay.
Every time. I don't see how quarterbacks were able to decipher that.
Right.
Because all I had to listen to was like 322, like we go 322 Y stick nod X or whatever, say the routes and everything on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
All I needed to hear was 322, what was the blocking scheme, and 322 meant it was a 3-step drop. 22 was the protection.
Okay.
And 22 means that we only have one back that's going to be in. He might blitz if the sandbacker came. And Y stick nod was the tight end. The tight end was going to run a stick nod route.
Mm-hmm.
All I needed to know was that part of the information. But it was a bunch of dissertation after that, a bunch of stuff after that they were telling the receivers where to line up and what to do also.
Right.
I didn't have to get into all that.
Right. So
I was just
that
here,
out.
Yeah.
Right.
So I could focus just on, the beginning of it. And then at the end, he'll say the snap count.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's tough, man. It's tough for a quarterback to go in a system like that because he has to know the protection, know there's a 3-step drop, know the primary route was the first route that they talk about. Then the rest of that, just in case it doesn't work, he knows where other receivers are going to be at, and those receivers out there got to know what the hot route is from the route that he just said, the 322.
Right.
He could just say 22 Y stick nod. That means it's going to be a 5 to 7-step drop. It's not a 3-step drop, and all that stuff is.
So they don't call it 522 and 722. It's just either 3 or just 22.
Yep.
Okay.
So
okay.
322. If it's 322, that means it's going to 3-step drop. Then you have 22. Means it's going to be running back. It's going to stay in and check the blitz, and then he's going to get on a route. You got 25 is 2 backs staying in, and then they're going to get out. If it's 325, it's it's a 3-step drop. You got to cut them, and the backs are going to stay in. You got Fox 2. Miss is going to be a slide protections. It was so much stuff.
That's that West Coast stuff, man. Yep. There's a lot of verbiage, right?
Too much verbiage, man.
Yeah.
Too much verbiage. A lot of quarterbacks aren't successful. That's why Randall Cunningham just couldn't get the offense.
Mm-hmm.
It was too much stuff for him to really sit back and internalize and read the defense and all that type of stuff, man. So he just decided, look, I'm gonna go out there and freestyle. If you open, I'm gonna get the ball to you.
Right.
Period.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you can't do that.
Now let's get to this stuff from Cilio's show yesterday. How about that? He has his old coach on, Jimmy Johnson. And apparently they were talking about, of course, the quarterback situation here in Philadelphia. Listen to what Jimmy Johnson had to say about Gardner Minshew.
Game this week, for them just to go ahead and name Jalen Hurts the starting quarterback, does that tell you that they're looking more at today, or do you think they're still looking at the evaluation process for the future of the Eagles?
Yeah, I think they've got to be looking. But, with your starting quarterback, you want to go ahead and, be all in on him. Say, hey, Jalen Hurts is our guy. You don't want to be wishy-washy about it and really mess up his confidence. And so, I think it was important for them to say Jalen Hurts is our guy. But by the same token, I think they need to be looking, or Minshew might be their guy.
Minshew might be their guy.
Wow.
Does he really believe that?
He can't believe that.
I
I
mean-
can't believe it.
I mean, after one game against the Jets,
Right. If he was that guy, he wouldn't be here right now. He'd still be in Jacksonville, at least competing for a job with Lawrence. If he was that guy.
well,
But I don't see him as that guy.
yeah. I mean, hey, I don't see him as our guy.
Right.
I mean, he could start somewhere in the league. He's done that. He can start for, a Detroit or a team that's going nowhere. I want to win a Super Bowl, and I don't see Gardner Minshew being a Super Bowl quarterback.
I don't see Gardner Minshew. Honestly, I mean, nothing against Gardner Minshew.
He's
as a
fun.
person. He's fun. Yeah.
He's fun.
His whole, his whole personality and everything is great. But when I look at a starting quarterback, I don't know if I can necessarily see him as this starter. And I shouldn't be like that, because I can remember getting pigeonholed into being a backup. I was a guy that was functional. I come in, I could start for 3 games, but they didn't see me as a full-time starter. I could come in and spot start for people. I could definitely come in and play during the game if somebody gets hurt. Once you get labeled that, it's hard to get that label off you. And I think Gardner Minshew has slid his way into being that type of guy. Hurts isn't at that point right now. Hurts is still in a position where he could still be labeled a starter and still be a starter, just as long as they still allow him to go out there
and
learn
because
the
he's
offense,
younger
learn how
in
to
the
play.
league than Minshew. We've seen
Exactly.
more of a
Minshew's
track
been, what,
record
3
of
years?
Minshew.
Exactly.
Yeah, at least, yeah. And the thing is, and I'm going to credit Mike Gill. We're going to have on at 12:30 because he put this other name to it, and I think it's perfect. Minshew could end up being the next Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Who's a guy that's going to be well-traveled throughout the league, get his chance to start, because of injuries or maybe a bridge quarterback situation. And he's be adequate enough, but he's not a guy, like I would never say that Ryan Fitzpatrick, he's fun, and he's functional, but he's never struck me as a guy that's ever going to win a Super Bowl.
Great analogy, because I think he's better than a Chase Daniels. Chase Daniels is a backup.
Right.
Ryan Fitzpatrick is a starter. He's just not he's what we call him, he's like a bridge builder.
The bridge starter. Yeah.
He bridges the next starter in. He'll be that stopgap guy that you can still win games with, but he won't be the quarterback that'll lead your franchise into the future. That's a perfect analogy of what you see. I see Gardner Minshew the same exact way. He's definitely a guy that can come in and start.
Right.
Win you a whole lot of games, but is he the long-term solution? I can't see him as a long-term solution.
Right.
But I'll say this, Hurts, it's still, in my eyes, a guy that can probably get better and get good enough that he could be a starter. He could be like a Trent Dilfer or like a Brad Johnson.
Right. But
a starter in the league.
You're talking about Hurts now.
Yes, Hurts.
But in this day and age, let's not go back to 2002 and 2000 or whenever those guys won their Super Bowls. Do you think Brad Johnson could win a Super Bowl today? That kind of quarterback in this NFL?
Not in this NFL. No.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
No. But I'm saying I'm comparing him now. His skill set, Hurts' skill set as a quarterback fits what they're doing these days. So that's why I say he has a better chance of being a starter than a Gardner Minshew.
Right.
Everybody wants a guy like Fields. Everybody wants a guy that can run around. Even the Jimmy Garoppolos, those guys can run around. They're athletic enough, but they can still push the ball down the field.
Right.
Everybody wants a guy like, the kid they have up in with the Buffalo. Man, I really think Buffalo could have won the game if they used him more than just a pocket passer. If they used him in the system that the Eagles have, he would be great. He'd be great because he could run the ball. He's a big kid. He's a big guy that can run. Put him in that same situation in this offense, they probably wouldn't have lost the game, man. That's how good he could be in this system.
Interesting.
Running the rock consistently, man.
You like that idea?
I get giddy thinking about it, bro. I do, man. I mean,
getting back to the college stuff, like what Jalen was in college and what a lot of guys are in college. those college coaches aren't necessarily there to develop you as a pro quarterback. They're there to win games. So they're not going to necessarily, take a guy like a Jalen Hurts as a freshman and a sophomore and try to make him a pro. They're going to try to say, hey, how can this guy win me 11 games?
Absolutely.
And
there lies the problem.
Right.
You
and I get that. I understand why. I mean, it's not necessarily, we call it a developmental league for the pros because it is, but it's not like they're there to say, I'm going to try to turn every quarterback that I have into what will be successful at the NFL. I want to see how can he beat, so-and-so this Saturday.
Well, exactly. And it's almost really bad when you look at a quarterback for Alabama, because the quality of athletes that he has around him won't necessarily tune him into being a great quarterback, because they have greater players than everybody else in the league.
Right.
So their better players are going to get open a lot faster, a lot better.
And you could say Ohio State too. I mean,
exactly.
Ohio State NFL receivers. I mean, same with Alabama.
So how much are you learning from looking at what the defense is giving you deal when you have two receivers that one runs a 4-3 and one runs a 4-4, and you got safeties and DBs back there that run like 4-5s.
Right.
I mean, it's just not fair. They're going to be wide open all the time. And you look at Hurts. Hurts had CeeDee Lamb back there. Come on, man. CeeDee Lamb is going to be open. He's open now in the NFL with the league's greatest, and he's still open. Can you imagine in college?
Hey, everybody's open in the Big 12.
Right. You're absolutely right,
I'm
man.
Partially being sarcastic, but
I know,
really.
but shoot, what defense?
I mean, I can still picture CeeDee Lamb just running. All you see is green turf next to him. I mean, there's nobody there.
So who is he reading? Who is Hurts reading?
Right.
He's not reading anything.
Right.
He may read to his kids at night, but no, he's not reading defenses.
Mm-hmm.
And people get, he doesn't know how to read defense. You got to teach him. Right. He's learning now how to read defenses. Right. He never had to learn. In Alabama, he had like 3 or 4 guys that run 4.2s and 4.3 40s. Now he's at this level. Now they're teaching him, all right, you look here. Watch this safety right here. If this safety walks over 2 steps, it changes the whole play.
Right.
People understand when he says a game
to a different landmark on the field means something different.
Exactly. Yeah. Like I'll give you an instance. As an offensive lineman, when you're at the line of scrimmage and you look at the defense and you see the linebacker lined up and he's 2 steps over one way, it can mean a lot of things. If he's 2 steps over, that means they're going to run a blitz on that side that he's at. They might run an MEB blitz, a Mike, Sam, and N. They might blitz on that side, or he might be moving over so he could check and get out and buzz on the flats, or if
cover a running back in the flat,
exactly. Or if it's a 3 technique that lines up and head up on you, that totally changed the blocking scheme on how you're going to run the blocking scheme. Don't let him move to a 1 technique at the beginning of the play. That really turns into a whole different play.
Maybe he's going to stunt or something.
Little things, change how people run plays, and people understand, man. Jalen Hurts has a lot of learning to do because he didn't learn it in college.
Right.
But he does have the mental capacity to do it. He can become a better pre-snap read just by going out and doing it.
And here's the other thing. He has a work ethic.
Oh, exactly.
That's the other thing that you got to like.
He's a coach's son, so he's going to work his ass off.
Right.
Guys,
all right, I got Barrett all geeked up here in the first half hour of the show, man. You are fired up. You know what it was? It was that Fire Zone stuff. Right. That got you all fired up. Thanks to Cooper Kupp.
I don't know if you knew Michelle Murray for NBC back when she first hired me. She said, "Right, you have to understand that me, as a football fan of the Eagles, I don't know what a Fire Zone blitz is. So when you say it, you're just talking and saying nothing to me. You got to explain to me like I don't know what you're talking about because I don't." Right. I'm thinking to myself, "Wow, you're right.
She's right. She was right."
Yeah. So I mean, I had to learn how to do it, man. So,
well, you have. There's no question about it. All right, let's take a quick timeout. We'll be back with more. Don't forget, we got Mertitas coming up at noon, and we got Mike Gill at 12:30. Lots to do here on the middle, right here on the JAKIB Media YouTube channel. Smash that like button. Back in 3.
At Stateside Vodka, every new customer gets the world's best rocks glass, free.
What's that?
A rocks glass?
You're telling me that bottle is cut in half?
You could say that. Holy shit.
The glass is for cocktails, right?
It's for this, 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 and that.
Is the length of the glass equal to your...
You betcha.
But is it made out of...
Glass?
Yeah, okay, but is the rip...
Smooth?
Will you stop doing...
That?
I'm the professional here.
And you're telling me I can get one of these glasses for free?
That's right. One free rocks glass per customer with each first-time purchase of Stateside Vodka. All from the company that's highly awarded. 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and deliciously tasting vodka. So good, it just disappears.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
When it comes to the fight against insurance companies, large corporations, and the healthcare industry, injured victims are always the underdog. But that doesn't worry us. At Messa & Associates, we're an injury law firm from Philadelphia, and we come to fight. Our clients know that they've got representation with a chip on its shoulder, and it's the same chip that makes Philly the toughest city in the country. Call 215-568-3500 or visit us online at messalaw.com. Messa & Associates, the toughest injury firm in Philadelphia.
Go for the midnight dares. Go for the game. Go for the hits. Go for the fans. Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
The stream is arguing amongst themselves today, Barrett. It has been just nonstop.
It started yesterday.
I know.
Started yesterday. It's Gardner Minshew and then Hurts and they're going back and forth with it.
It takes on a life of its own. It's almost like whatever we say doesn't really matter. They're just having their own discussion over here.
Right.
It's
Don't bother us.
Right. Talk amongst yourself.
Right.
Amongst yourselves.
Yeah, I'm telling you, yeah, Rager sucks.
Yeah, right. Where'd that come from? But it would figure that we get the Big 12 receiver that either can't get open or doesn't catch the ball when it's thrown to him.
Right.
Oh my goodness. You know who the other guy is like that? Is that guy last week for the Jets? Remember Mims?
Oh yeah.
Remember they were having all kinds of fantasies that he was going to be this star receiver. He's done nothing in the pros thus far.
Well, it kind of looked like that anyways, because he was, look at his size. He's like 6'5", 6'4".
Yeah.
220 pounds. But he really didn't dominate the Big 12 like he should have.
Right.
You know what I mean? It seems like he was just a little soft to me when I watched film on him.
Mm-hmm.
He let DBs reroute him and press him and all that stuff. And
for being a big guy,
when you're that big, when that big, there's nothing to stop. If I wanted to run to a spot, there shouldn't be anything stopping me from going to that spot.
Right.
I should get to that spot with his size, speed, ability. He ran like a 4.3 with that size. It does done nothing.
All right. Now, did you see or did you hear? It's funny. Both these guys are ex-Cowboys. We talked. We heard Jimmy Johnson talking about, maybe they have, what they have in Minshew. Maybe that's something worth going forward with. I don't agree with him. I think he's just sort of throwing things out there. But did you hear what Keyshawn Johnson had to say?
No.
About the quarterback controversy here in Philadelphia. Of course, he's on that ESPN and morning radio show, KJM, they call it.
Right.
And he was talking about Minshew. He says, quote, "What I would say about Philadelphia is the backup quarterback is always the favorite in Philadelphia. I can go back as far as I remember from my time just playing in the league alone, whether it's Coy Detmer, Kevin Cobb, Michael Vick, or Nick Foles, whether it's Jeff Garcia. I can just go on and on and on about the backup quarterbacks in Philadelphia. They have this, I don't know, this lust for a backup quarterback. One or two wins, quote, get him out. Sports talk radio early in the morning. Get him out. Like, man, just let Jalen Hurts continue to develop. Gardner Minshew was not brought there to challenge Hurts as the starting quarterback. Stop it."
Keyshawn, I love it. Wow. I think the same thing, man. I'm thinking the same thing. That's probably one of the first time I've agreed with Keyshawn.
Is that right?
I'm good with that. I mean, and I think that's what I'm really trying to get to. That's what I'm really trying to, let people see. Is you got to give this kid a chance to at least mature a little bit. You know what I mean? You heard what Doug said when we got the Doug stuff. Well, Doug said, it takes quarterbacks 3 years for you to really identify who they are and what they can do, what their capabilities are. And who was the backup quarterback last year? Who was the quarterback
for the Eagles?
Yes, they came in when Hurts at the
Hurts
last game
was the backup. Oh no, you're talking about what's his name from Indiana, University of Indiana.
What
yeah,
his name?
Suds. I call him.
Sudfeld.
Yeah.
Well, you look at Sudfeld. Sudfeld was here for 3.5 years.
Right.
And he defined who he was. You saw who he was.
Right.
Give this kid a chance to do the same thing.
Well, nobody expected anything of Sudfeld, though. I mean, there's certain guys that you just know are third stringers. You know what I mean? Like Sudfeld will probably have collect a check for a bunch more. I think was he in San Francisco now?
He was, but they cut him.
They cut him too. Well, he'll probably get signed again and bounce around and it was sort of like Heineke, and now all of a sudden Heineke's found a spot where he's sort of having a Fitzmagic kind of year.
And that's
Heineke is probably going to be a Minshew-esque type player too for the rest of his career.
Absolutely.
Right.
Very functional starter, can come in and start a couple games for you. But as far as leading the franchise throughout the year, I don't know if they would allow him to do that.
Right. Now
I think they will allow Hurts to be that guy, and if you continue to teach him, and he's going to learn. What you teach him, he's going to learn. He'll understand how to, be that quarterback. If he sees a blitz, he'll be able to react to the blitz, check to a play. He'll do all those things.
Right.
One thing I think that he, like you said, he has to work on is his accuracy. But accuracy comes when you know where the ball is supposed to go, especially in a pre-snap. You know what I mean? If you know where the ball is supposed to go, I believe he can get it there.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But you have to learn first the dynamics of how the offense is run and where somebody's going to be at. That's one of, the better things I see better quarterbacks do. They always know where the ball is supposed to go and they'll get it there. This last game I did for my baritone, you could tell that the Eagles made a definite they definitely wanted to get Sanders the ball. And not just running the ball, but also in the pass.
Right.
So they game planned him to be open a lot of the time. That's why you saw so many like
screen passes,
screen passes.
Yeah. Why didn't they do that with Hurts?
Well, I don't know.
Because the screen game was something that the Eagles have always been known for. Very effective screen team. You go back, running back, you could go back through the list of really good running backs that we've had here. A large part of what they also did was catching the ball out of the backfield and making big plays in the screen game.
Well, screen games are run when you think the defense is trying to rush the passer because they think you're going to throw the ball. The Eagles ain't throwing the ball. They weren't going to throw the ball.
Well, they were trying the first 6 or 7 games, and you still didn't see much screen work there.
Right, and they didn't call a lot of screens.
Right.
But if you look at it with Sanders, they ran plays to really open him up and get him one-on-one against safeties and linebackers. I broke down a play where they started out, they were 11 personnel, 1 running back, 1 tight end. They started out, 2 by 2, 2 receivers on one side, a receiver and a tight end on the other side. And on the left-hand side, they left Smith there, but then they took Watson and had him motion across the formation. When he motioned across, everybody slid over from the Jets. As they slid over, you could tell they wanted to run stop right. They ran a stop right with Goddard. They ran a comeback with Rager, and on the outside they ran a little 9 route with Watkins. Mm-hmm. And then Smith on the other side, he would come up and he runs a stop route. It was kind of a semi type of pick, but it wasn't a pick, but it's a stop route. So the safety and the linebacker could see and look at him and have their focus on him. And then all Sanders did was run a little wheel route out of the backfield. And he was wide open to get the first down. Mm-hmm. That's game planning to get Sanders as the primary on that, wide open to get the first down. Huh. When you do stuff like that because you want to get him because they feel as though he's a weapon. They should have been doing that, trying to get the ball to him. And they just, I guess they thought that Minshew can do it and Hurts couldn't. But those are the type of things you do to get guys open. Just like they made a point to get Goddard the ball. On the first touchdown that he had, it was a great, great call because they motioned him across the formation. He started on one side, went to the other side, and the route that he ran up the seam and cut it over as almost like a post flag. And when he ran over, he was wide open because he had a linebacker one-on-one, C.J. Mosley one-on-one with him. And he ran a great route because he was able to get over the top of him, not run across his face, but he got over the top and ran it back of him. By that time, it was over. The ball was in the air. So those are things you could do to open up the offense, but I don't even want to do that stuff.
Yeah.
I want to just run the ball. You know what I'm saying? I want to pull a Patriot so bad.
Right. Oh, yeah. Throw 3 times. Is that what you want?
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. Keyshawn's kind of spot on about the obsession with backup quarterbacks in this town. It goes back a long way. But isn't it kind of ironic that the backup quarterback eventually won the Super Bowl for this town? How whacked is that?
How appropriate was that?
It was meant to be the backup quarterback to do
No question. And it's been like that since I've been a part of the organization too. When I got drafted here, we had Randall Cunningham, one of the ultimate weapons, and the backup quarterback was what's his name? Rodney Peete. Same thing.
Oh yeah. Oh, look at this.
What?
Luke Stansfield at Luke_Stans NFL says since 2006, the Eagles are 40-18 in games where the backup has started. Wow. No wonder. Think about that winning percentage. 40 out of 58 games.
With a Super Bowl. With the game.
Exactly.
With the game.
Oh, man.
In that 40.
I didn't know that. That's great stuff.
That's ridiculous, man.
I might need to follow this guy, this Luke Stan. Who is this guy again? Luke Stan?
Luke Stan NFL.
Man, comes up with some good stuff. Let's see.
That's only appropriate, man. Here, but you gotta look at this town. This isn't like necessarily the town that people really look at as far as we wear our hard hat to work. You know what I'm saying? We're blue collar people. We wear our hard hat to work. We go out there, we try to earn our honest dollar. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And, we feel as though we invest in the Philadelphia Eagles. When we go buy tickets, we feel like we're paying those players' salary. And I got it when I first got here. I got that as soon as I got here. That's one of the first things that I learned. That the local guy over there buying a cheesesteak, he feels as though he's paying my salary. And he's not afraid to let me know that he's paying my salary. Hell, if I didn't buy these tickets up to 700 level, you wouldn't get paid today. You could feel that, you know what I'm saying, in the air when you're around these people. So us as fans, when we watch this game, we feel as though we're totally invested in it because we pay their salaries. So we want a good product, man, and that's what it is, bro. So when we want the underdog, we love Rocky. You know what I'm saying? Those are all things.
I don't.
You might be the only person
out on Rocky. All this Rocky stuff. We need to retire that. Colin Berger actually did the math. It's 68.9% win percentage. And Jeff says that settles it. Start Minshew. That's it. That's all I need to see. Oh my God. Oh, now did you see the this whole Ben Simmons thing? Did you see yesterday? I wanted to get to this yesterday, but I didn't. It was over the weekend, I believe. The whole Damian Lillard wanting Ben Simmons, wanting to play with Ben Simmons in that not Bleacher Report. It was The Athletic. Okay. Remember we talked about that briefly?
Yep.
Well, apparently Ben Simmons on his Instagram liked the post from Bleacher Report that described that Athletic post. So he saw it and liked it. People pay attention to this stuff.
No question.
Like what these guys do on their social media. So that gets everybody talking even more like, oh, Ben's down with it. He wants to play with Damian Lillard in Portland. So everybody starts putting the trade machine together, as did I. And you come up with CJ McCollum and, Little or this other backup point guard. I think it's Simmons. I forget his name. He came straight out of high school. Pretty talented player. And maybe some first-round picks. And we're like, there's the deal. Let's go, Daryl Morey. Let's do the deal. But now, CJ McCollum, did you see what happened to him in the game against Boston the other night? He apparently must have gotten a shot in the ribs, and he has a collapsed lung.
What?
Yes, I saw this last night on Twitter all over the place. He has a pneumothorax, which is the fancy medical term for a collapsed lung. Wouldn't that figure?
Man. Come on, man. I hate to do
You can't make this up.
Right. How does that happen?
Seriously.
I mean, he's one of our guys, Didn't he go to Lehigh or something?
Yes, he did. He did.
See, come on, man. Philly area guy, at least went to school in the Philly area, man. Damn it. I hate to do it to him, man.
Now,
I'll still take him, though.
I would too, but I read a piece in the Philly Voice from our buddy Kyle Neubeck that kind of dispelled the CJ McCollum thing for the Sixers. And he went into it's very detailed, it's very long, but it's really well thought out, and it's pretty good. Like he's saying that Morey will not be interested because of X, Y, and Z, and he goes through all these different reasons that he's shooting higher than CJ McCollum. And December 15th is right around the corner. That's a very important date on the NBA calendar because the majority of free agents that were acquired in this past offseason are then eligible to be traded by the teams that acquired them. Not everyone, but the majority of them, depending on different things in their contracts. So that's going to open up the idea of more places where maybe they could make a deal and get it back a good player or a better player than even a CJ McCollum.
Right.
So the thought process is that nothing's going to happen until possibly December 15th, which would open up more possible deals and avenues. Yeah. It makes sense to me, right?
Yeah, you're right. Well, I can't wait. That's next week.
Yeah, I know.
That's next Wednesday.
It is. Yeah.
Let's mark that on the calendar.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, 91 LSXers.
What did he say?
It's not platitudes, man. I'm telling you, I lived it. We're talking about we're just talking about the
backup
lunch pail
stuff?
and
the blue collar thing.
Yeah. You got to understand this, man.
When you were there, I mean, that's a little while ago now. I agree it was more, but nowadays I don't know that we're as blue collar as everybody likes to make us out to be.
Well,
in 2021.
All I know is back then. Did I tell you the story about when I took my family to this restaurant right around the corner from the stadium?
No, you didn't. No.
Oh man. So listen, this is as Philly gets.
It wasn't Villa de Roma where I was last night. Oh. That's a blue collar place with fantastic food.
We'll put it like this. It was right there on Oregon Street, man. So
Oregon.
I eat there like
around here. That's Oregon. Oregon.
Yeah.
It's Oregon Avenue. Okay.
Right. So I go to the restaurant. First night we get there, the food is amazing. My kids loved it, man. They, loved it. Great people there. You know what I mean? It's, great Italian family. The food was amazing, man. I had this, that's when I first heard it was gravy. I was like, I never knew about gravy. I'm from St. Louis, man. We call spaghetti sauce. Right. But they had this
ragu.
Exactly. So I had, this seafood dish with they said red gravy. I'm like,
right,
red gravy. All right, well, I'm gonna get it anyway. Great, amazing food. So we go back the next week, and we lost to Dallas that week. And I walk in, I sit my family down, and all of a sudden, the older woman that was treating us all good before was cussing me out in Italian. And I know she was cussing me out because some of the words sound like American words, bro.
Okay.
So she was cussing me out. I'm like, what is going on? You know, she cussing on my kids. And I'm like, why is she cussing in front of my kids? And, you know, I'm like, oh, what's going on? She is really getting at me, cussing me out. So her son comes out and grabs her and escorts her back. And I'm like, what the hell just happened? I don't know what happened. I just sat down. What the hell just happened? He comes and said, man, I apologize, man. In fact, you know, dinner's on me, you know, yada, yada. Yeah. I said, what? First of all, bro, what did I do, man? It's all, man, it's not you, man. I said, well, what was going on? Well, you lost to Dallas. You lost to Dallas yesterday. And my mother had like 15 grand on the game. She lost 15 grand on the game because you lost. I'm like, ain't that about nothing? Goodness. She's cussing me out because she lost 15 grand on the game and she bet that we were going to beat Dallas. So she was cussing me out over that, bro. Wow. You know what I mean? So I'm like, you know, talk about blue collar. That's what you call blue collar. Even the grandmothers and mothers are betting 15 grand on football games, especially against Dallas.
Wow.
That's as blue collar as it gets, bro.
Well, yeah, that I agree with you with that. There's no.
So
no
I've lived it. I've lived it. It's not a platitude. I've lived it.
I'm looking up Italian curse words.
You're right.
Vaffanculo. Does that sound like an Italian curse word?
All of that. She was saying all of that.
Porca puttana. Murder.
See, look.
Well, I'd love to get a video of some older woman cursing in Italian and play it.
Oh, man, it was crazy, bro. I'm looking at it like, wow, what is going on?
That's hilarious. Yeah, last night we went out, me and a buddy went out to dinner down in South Philly, and he gave me the whole tour. He grew up right there on 9th Street. And we're walking up and down the street, and he's pointing out, you know, what this used to be and what this used to be. There must have been 29 butcher shops in a three-block area. He goes, that used to be a butcher shop. My old man's butcher shop used to be right there. It was. I'm like, Jesus, did the whole world come here for meat,
bro? I
unbelievable.
I go 9th Street to go get my my meats, bro. That's where there's a bunch of them down there. In fact, I got in a fight down there.
You did?
Yeah, right on Washington Avenue. It's right there, 9th in Washington.
Yeah, that's where I parked.
I got in a fight with the people there.
Yeah.
I got in a fight. My wife's aunt.
Okay.
She was there, and she was. It wasn't the butcher. It was the butcher, but there was like fruit there and stuff too. And
yeah, there's fruit markets there. Yeah, sure.
Right.
Sure.
So I'm sitting there, you know, and I turn around, and I see the woman that owns the place is like pushing my aunt. I'm like, yo, what's going on? Yo, what's going on? So I haven't said anything to the lady. I'm talking to my aunt. And as I'm saying that, one of her sons jumps over the thing and swings at me. He swings at me. Yes, he swings at me. And
how
they
big
were
was this
little
guy?
Guys. They were about my size.
Oh, they were big guys. Okay.
But I was in shape. I was in shape then. I was, you know, it's like my 5th year in the league. So I'm physically fit. I'm ready, man. So he swung me. I missed him. I knocked him out. And the other brother came out. I kicked him in his chest. And then the police came and they arrest me.
Of course.
I'm like, oh, how you arresting me? They just jumped me.
They always get the second guy.
Right. I'm like, come on, man. They started it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He swung at me. I knocked him out. The other guy comes swing him. I give him a little bit too.
What are you supposed to do? You're defending yourself.
You know, nothing came of it. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't trying to sue them or anything, or, you know, and they weren't trying to sue me. I'm like, but yo, you know, it's deep down there, man. You know, I gotta watch myself when I go down there, bro. It's, you know, it's mafia ties and everything, man. I don't like to mess with them people, dog.
This place was at 9th and Carpenter, so it's like a block or so north of there. You know, great stuff, man. Really good.
Yeah, but that's why I used to get all my meat from down there, man. I mean, got a great selection. Go get some of my oxtails from down there. I mean, everything. Get everything from down there, man. Chicken wings. I need to go down and get some chicken wings because you can't find chicken wings anywhere right now.
Is that right? Well, that's a supply chain issue.
Yeah. It's like they're an endangered species now. Just the chicken wing, not the rest of the chicken. You can get thighs anywhere you want to go. but just the wings.
Right.
Come on, man. This is part of the
They're,
same
they're
era.
all in a cargo ship off the coast of Los Angeles right now. And you're not getting anything for Christmas either because of that. It's all over there. Okay. So just forget about it. Now, your White Castle, though, the Penguin AZ says, what about no White Castle?
It would be a definite problem. Then,
that would be an issue.
Oh, it'd be a serious issue.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take a short time out, and we got Jason Martinez scheduled to join us next. Obviously, we started our little podcast. It's not little. It's a podcast yesterday, and we got Flyer stuff to discuss. And then we got Mike Gill at 12:30. You ready for that?
I don't know, man. I don't even know if I'm ready for Martinez. No.
Yeah, well, I could guarantee you're not ready for him. Back in 3.
At Stateside Vodka, every new customer gets the world's best rocks glass, free.
What's that?
A rocks glass?
You're telling me that bottle is cut in half?
You could say that.
Holy shit. Glasses for cocktails, right?
It's for this, and that.
Is the length of the glass equal to your...
You betcha.
But is it made out of...
Glass?
Yeah, okay, but is the rip...
Smooth?
Will you stop doing...
That?
I'm the professional here.
And you're telling me I can get one of these glasses for free?
That's right. 1 free rocks glass per customer with each first-time purchase of Stateside Vodka. All from the company that's highly awarded. 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and deliciously tasting vodka. So good, it just disappears.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
When it comes to the fight against insurance companies, large corporations, and the healthcare industry, injured victims are always the underdog. But that doesn't worry us. At Messa & Associates, we're an injury law firm from Philadelphia, and we come to fight. Our clients know that they've got representation with a chip on its shoulder, and it's the same chip that makes Philly the toughest city in the country. Call 215-568-3500 or visit us online at messalaw.com. Messa & Associates, the toughest injury firm in Philadelphia.
Go for the midnight dares. Go for the game. Go for the hits. Go for the fans. Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
All right, welcome back. Second hour of the middle coming up. A couple of guests joining the show. Good first hour discussion on some football and some Ben Simmons and Barrett getting in fights in South Philadelphia. That was a good hour. Yeah. Now, Adam's Exploits on the stream says that he was in the wine and liquor business. Chicken wing prices go up and down depending on the season. Super Bowl time, the prices are insane.
Well, they don't even have them now. Like I went into Walmart, I went to ShopRite, and I went to the Acme, and nobody has any.
Well, AJB says you got to get a Restaurant Depot card. They have them there.
I got one.
You do?
I'm going. Yes, I'm going to go.
You got to go over there this afternoon. Look who
Depot.
joined us here. Look at he's got he's got the hat on. What hat is that? Oh, CCM hat, of course. CCM
I thought
Premier. Premier.
I would think you would have been looking disheveled right now. You don't have a coach. Well, you don't have a real coach yet. You know, the guys aren't doing too well right now. I would think you'd be going nuts right now, man.
No, well, first let me address that. I mean, CCM Premier. That's the pillows that I wear here. The CCM Premier.
The
line.
pads.
Yeah.
That's pads, goalie pads.
Yeah,
they call them pillows. Yeah.
So I wear the Premier line. So I got a bunch. There's a whole bunch of them over there. Like,
oh yeah,
there's like 30 of them. I got brand new ones. Yeah.
Wow.
I bet you they stink too, man.
No, it's brand new.
They haven't been used.
Oh,
yet.
brand new.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah,
brand
yeah.
new. Yeah.
Yeah,
He gets all
new
this
bucket.
He gets all this stuff gratis too.
Well, yeah, I have a deal.
He doesn't. He's like sponsored by CCM.
Yeah,
Wow.
I got a deal. Well, I got a CCM shirt, little zip up CCM thing
Little
going on
quarter
there.
zip. A little quarter zip.
No, it's full zip.
Oh, full zip.
Yeah,
Okay.
full zip. I have a quarter zip too, but I opted for the full zip today.
Right.
See what you started, man.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Yesterday,
I'm going to send CCM a bill after this.
You should. Our first podcast dropped yesterday, and I have an issue with you over this too, because the title of it is "Ah, geez." It's because I typically say that to him when he brings up hockey. But the hashtag, you went hashtag AH and then a space for G's. You got to put it all together.
Yeah, I
because it's coming up hashtag ah.
Yeah.
So if
I
people were
screwed
to
that up.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not the most social media savvy guy here. I do what I can. All right.
Right.
I was brought up in the broadcast industry, not the
Right.
hashtag industry.
Right.
Maybe the hash industry at one point.
Right. You smoked your share of hash, I'm
yeah,
sure.
a little liquid.
Yeah, a little under the glass. Did you ever do that on the table? Yeah. Barrett. We had John DeBella on yesterday as our first guest, man. He's a guy that we both really admire in the business. It was great. It was great.
I can only imagine. Only imagine, man. Oh my goodness. I can only imagine, bro.
91 L Sexers on the thing says, I thought it would have been OG, considering Martinez's love for El Capitan.
Yes.
Oh,
that's an alternate title.
Yeah. Hashtag OHG, capital G.
But you got to do it the way you just did. Oh, gee.
Oh, gee. Oh, my.
What is going on with him, man?
Oh, dude. What is it? 9 in a row or 8 in a row? I lose track.
9. It's
9 in a row.
Knocking on double digits tonight against the Devils.
And 6 coaches in 7 years. Is that what we came to?
Yeah, it's about, well, if you count the interim
including
coaches,
interims. Yeah.
Because Scott Gordon was an interim coach when he took over for Dave Hackstall. And then right now, Mike Yo is the interim coach.
Is that how you pronounce it? Yo, Y-E-O is Yo. Okay.
Yeah. I was listening to our buddy DeCamera the other day, and he's like, Mike Yao. That's how I'm like, come on, guys. It's Mike Yo. The guy's been a head coach in the league. Let's bone up a little here.
Yo,
Bo.
So if they were an NFL team, okay, and they'd be like the Cleveland Browns years ago, going through coach, or the Washington Redskins back in the day, going through coaches every year, every other year, we'd be totally trashing them. Do they get trashed in the national hockey media?
I don't know that they get trashed because the going through coaches thing happens a lot in the NHL.
It does, more so than
Yeah.
other sports. You're right.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, even teams that have success fire coaches. But I'm just saying they haven't been successful, and they're just going through coach after coach after coach. And it's the same core group until this past offseason when they started to move some of the guys.
See, that's a misnomer. It's not. The only 2 guys that have been here from the core group really are Giroux and Couturier. Everybody else has been turned over. So,
well, Voracek and then past off season, and who else did they get rid of? Ghost, yeah.
I mean, they moved on, and Phil Myers, who wasn't a core group guy because he was still young. So same with Nolan Patrick, but I mean, the Nolan Patrick thing really set them back, taking him number 2 overall and having him turn out to be just an absolute mutt.
Now, where is he now?
He's in Vegas.
Is he doing anything in Vegas?
No, barely even playing.
Wow.
Phil Myers has been healthy scratched. I mean, so you traded a couple bags of pucks to get Ryan Ellis. Now he's only played 4 games.
Right.
But I mean, I still, knowing he's only played 4 games, Harry, I still make the deal today.
Yeah.
Wow. Sending those 2 guys out for Ryan Ellis with the hope that he can get healthy.
So I mean, looking at things, look at Travis and look at Ivan. Are they playing up to expectations now?
No, it's a great point, Barrett. And I think it's one of the really important things to consider why they made a move as well. We knew when AV came in that he wasn't a guy that's great with young players and developing young players. He's not a rebuild coach. And some of those players like Travis Sanheim, Ivan Provorov, who you mentioned, Travis Konechny, and others, like you're depending on them to move in the right direction and be the future core of the team. Maybe not the star players, but the core of the team. And a lot of those guys have had very erratic. They become a bit of what I call like bipolar players. Like they're up here or they're down here, and they don't play much in the middle. They're either really good or they're really bad. Like Travis Konechny last year got healthy scratched on a couple of occasions.
Yeah,
and that's a big part of it. Like you got to get those guys back on a trajectory that's going up. And Provorov's become really partner dependent, which should not be the case for a player like him. If he's got Ryan Ellis or he's got Matt Niskanen like he did a couple of years ago, great. But if he doesn't, he's looked bad, and he looks like he's really fighting it right now. So I think it's a big part of it.
You loved Provorov when he first got here.
Yeah, I mean,
you still do, I guess. But
yeah, he's a good defender. He's has good offensive, instincts and skills, but he does not have a great handle. Like he's not great at handling the puck, and he really looks, with certain partners to be very average. He doesn't look like a number one.
Play then?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, they moved him off it again, Barrett, but I don't know why. He's not a top power play unit guy. Maybe PP2 I'd be fine with, but as the puck handler or the point man on a power play, I don't like it because he's not a great distributor. He's not a great shooter. He's a good defender. And if you went out and got Keith Yandel, it makes no sense to not use him in his most effective skill set at this point in his career, which is as the power play quarterback. And that may be another reason why this deal went down, because they moved him off the top power play.
AV
didn't make AV and Mike Tarian, but it just didn't make any sense.
All right, now who's next? Because Yo is not the permanent guy. We all know that. Do they go back to the well with a former Flyer and Rick Tocchet? Do they go maybe Jim Montgomery or John Tortorella? I mean, who do you think comes in here?
Yeah, I mean, I think all three of those names are guys that absolutely will be considered. I think Yo might get a look, to see what happens and how this plays out over the next, couple weeks till the end of the year, end of the calendar year, not the end of the season, or maybe even the end of the season. I don't know. But, to me, if Mike Yo's not the answer, and look, he was a good coach. He took over in St. Louis for Hitch in a very similar situation. His team went 22-8-3. They made the playoffs. They won a round in the playoffs that year. So he's been in this kind of situation before. He was in it in Pittsburgh as an assistant when they fired Michel Therrien, oddly enough, and hired Dan Bilesman. They went on to win a cup. Now, that team had Crosby, Malkin, Letang, and Marc-Andre Fleury. This team does not. So it is different, but it's not like Mike Yo is not a guy that can coach at the NHL level. He has, and he's had success. He was also let go in St. Louis when Craig Berube took over and won the cup.
Right.
So look, but there's shelf lives on every coach. So
why is that? Why is it so easy to do that at the hockey level as opposed to like NFL and basketball? I mean, it's like pulling teeth doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, Barrett, because somebody asked me, they said, why do they just fire hockey coaches in the middle of the season all the time? And my answer was kind of simple, because it works. I mean, how many times have you seen a coach fired and then the team just turn it around?
Responds, yeah.
Yeah, and go on to sometimes win the cup, like Berube did. And that's happened before. Bruce Boudreau in 2006 all of a sudden had a fledgling Capitals team and took 82 games to get them into the playoffs, and they went on a run. You look at the Flyers in 2009 when they fired John Stevens, they bring in Laviolette, and eventually they go on a run. They go to the cup final.
Yeah, I loved him. Yeah.
So the reason why it happens all the time is because it works too often. It happened in Pittsburgh with Mike when they hired Mike Sullivan. He went to win 2 cups. You see it all the time, and I think the only answer is the reason why they do it is because it works.
I talked to somebody, an old buddy of mine who played some hockey, not at your level, but he played hockey and he's really into it. And he said he thinks it's because as these guys come up through the juniors level, like the younger level, they've always got new coaches. Like they are always moving to a different level or team, and they've got a different voice basically every year or so. So
every other,
like the expiration on that voice is short.
It's an interesting observation because as you level up in hockey, like it's 2 years per level. So you'll have a first year, you'll be a first year Bantam, then a second year Bantam, then you move up to midget, and you'll be, that's you basically U16, U17, and then you go to a new coaching staff, and that does happen. It's very rare that as you're coming up, if you're playing, especially at a tier 1 or higher level, that you have the same coach that moves up with you. So it's a different message and it's a different messenger every time you go up.
91 LSXer said he'll take Emilio Estevez at this point.
From the Mighty Ducks. I've never seen that movie, but yeah.
You never have?
No, that's a donkey movie, Harold.
So
I don't go Disney in hockey.
That's a disrespect of hockey.
Well, I have a hard time with hockey movies, most of them, because they can't skate. So I can't buy in. If the guy can't skate, if he ain't got wheels, I can't watch it, Wow. Like Rob Lowe was a pretty mediocre skater.
Youngblood.
Yeah. But like Patrick Swayze could move a little bit in that movie. But you had Peter Zezel and you had some other guys that could play.
Could Paul Newman really skate?
A little bit.
Yeah,
not really, but that movie was great because of the Hanson brothers.
Right.
Bro, only you, man. Only you, man.
Yeah.
Barrett,
I played hockey against Rob Lowe.
Did you?
Yeah, when I was a freshman at Malvern, they had this celebrity hockey challenge, and we played it. There was an all-star team. We played against a bunch of guys: Chad Lowe, Rob Lowe, Alan Thicke was there, MacGyver, Richard Dean Anderson. Not a boy. Yeah. We shared the ice.
What about
you played goalie? Did they score on you?
I don't remember. I did play goalie, but I don't remember who scored. I'm sure somebody did.
What about Pat Sajak? Was he in there? Because he's a big hockey fan. Did he play ever?
I don't know if he ever played. He's a big Washington fan.
Yeah, the Wheel of Fortune
fan.
guy.
Yeah. I don't recall him being involved in that.
Used to come on my show in L.A., huh?
Yeah. Give me an S, an R, and an L there, Pat. And we'll go to the phones.
Now, we actually played it at the end of the pod yesterday, and Jason has seen it. The dog video, Barrett. Remember when we played that the other day? The German Shepherd going out on the ice. I mean,
what was your perspective on that?
Yeah.
That if Mr. Snyder was alive, that Jamie Apodi would have worked her last shift at 6 ABC. That's my perspective. He would have had a meltdown.
Yeah.
You put a video out of a dog dropping a deuce on my logo at center ice. Done. Career over.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Back in the day when he owned 610, he got Craig Carton zipped. Right?
Man. Craig got Craig zipped.
Well, I know, but I mean, he wasn't going to survive that.
Yeah, he owned the station.
He owned the station.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mr. Snyder, he would have. There would have been a very loud phone call made after that video surfaced, and that video would have been wiped off the existence of the internet.
Right.
You couldn't even, like, if I was in a pregame show and said the pucks are bouncing and the ice looks tired in the pregame show, he would have freaked out.
Or is that right?
He
didn't stand for tired ice.
Wait, you don't talk about that publicly. Ice. It might be tired, but you ain't talking about it.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, he was very protective of everything.
Wow.
Well, he should, man. I mean, because look at the product, man. The product is horrible. He wouldn't be having a product looking like this. You know, I mean, it's funny to me, as a guy that I don't watch hockey near enough to be an expert on anything about hockey, man. But I do know, not necessarily effort, but I know enthusiasm when I see a team, and it's almost like their nature's almost, all right, when is it going to happen? All right, here it is. It's happening now. We're about to lose.
Well, here's the thing.
I can't get with that.
With this year, it's hard to tell how much of this is, they have had the most brutal schedule I've ever seen in the NHL. They had a 10-game stretch that was the hardest stretch that any team will face, a 10-game stretch in the entire NHL this year. And mind you, they had to do it without Ryan Ellis, most of it without Kevin Hazen when he was there for the 2 games, coming off double core surgery. He's skating right now. I got guys on my beer league team that skate faster than him right now, and I'm not kidding. And because he double core surgery, right, that he's coming off of. You lost your guy who scored a goal in 3 straight games in Farabee. You have Broussard out, your second line center. You have all these pieces missing, and you're facing Carolina. You're facing Calgary. Tampa, three times they had Tampa.
Right.
Boston, Florida, and all these teams, the Rangers. And
Rangers are hot, man.
They're the hottest team in the league. I think they've won seven or eight straight.
The bread man.
Yeah, that whole team's great. But you look at it and you go, how are you going to survive that? The league's too unforgiving. And you couple that with, the fact that they don't have the pieces with the injuries, and maybe they don't have them when the team's healthy to run the system that AV runs from an offensive standpoint. And then you have players starting to struggle and confidence issues. And that confluence of all those things and the opponents is too unforgiving to survive.
Right.
You know?
So kind of like what the Eagles just faced the first half of the season.
Yeah. Yeah, and you just got their schedule coming up is so much easier. They've the 23rd ranked schedule now the rest of the way.
Mm-hmm.
They've had the hardest schedule in the league to this point. And you got teams coming up like Ottawa, like Montreal, who have 5 wins each. You have teams coming up like New Jersey's reeling right now. They've lost 4 straight and 7.
Oh, so they might win this game.
They're going to win tonight.
Yeah,
they're going to win tonight. Tonight's the night they're going to win. But I mean, you saw Colorado, you saw Tampa 3 times. I mean, what a murderer's row of a schedule, and they got to get it together. They're not that far out of it. I mean, Detroit right now has one of the wild cards.
Yeah.
So, and they're not good, but the Flyers have not been good. It's been ugly, but you got to see how they turn it around and move forward here. They have a little bit of time, but you got to start winning now. You can't keep digging the hole any deeper because the big part is, chasing, it's one thing, but in sports, the emotional reservoir runs dry. It is not a bottomless cup. And eventually you spend so much emotional energy getting back in it that you can't sustain it once you even do get back in it, and you fall back down. So that now's the time. They've only played a quarter of the season. They have 59 games left. It's not like there's not time.
Wow.
But you gotta get going ASAP.
What's your take on the new broadcast partners and how the job that they're doing?
I think it's been fine. For some people, they look at it and they say, I'm not seeing games in prime time enough like they did, Wednesday night hockey, and it's been late night. But a lot of that is because these broadcast deals were signed after ESPN and TNT already had commitments. So at the end of the calendar year, that's going to change because those broadcast commitments now change.
Okay.
But ESPN,
so then the earlier times open up is what
exactly.
You're saying.
Yep.
Yeah.
And like they had wrestling on Wednesday nights on TNT, so they're doing late night games.
Right.
Because they have a contract there. So when that changes, we'll see it more. I think they're doing a tremendous job on the streaming side of it, and that's the future. Whether you want to fight it or not, that's the future, and the league knows it, and they have a younger demographic.
Yeah, they've always kind of been on the forefront of that before some of the other leagues, right? They were into that years ago.
Yeah, they've been doing the streaming thing, and now with ESPN Plus, they're really hitting it hard. I read an article that the new partnerships, ESPN and TNT, have exposed the game to 5 times more people than it did last year on NBC.
Wow.
But why is that?
ESPN Plus, yeah.
But why is that? It's because every sports bar you go into, whether it's at 10:30 in the morning or 11 o'clock at night, and every minute in between, ESPN's on the television, and ESPN's invested now, and it's on their television quite a bit. They're doing a good job promoting it. So as much as I rip
highlights,
and the shows, and they got Butchergrass and Barry Melrose, who I'm not sure he even watches the game anymore, to be honest with you, but all their people, and they're promoting the hell out of it, and because they've a vested interest in it. And I ripped them for years because when they didn't promote it.
Yep.
They ignored it, but props to them.
Well, that's what they do. If they don't have the properties, they ignore the sport, no matter what it is. It wasn't it wasn't anything against hockey. It was just that they weren't a partner at the time.
Yeah.
But yeah,
my thing was, if you're the worldwide leader, you don't
True.
ignore any of them. But anyway.
Right, you can't have it both ways. But Barrett's on ESPN Plus all the time for doing these games.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, man, because
it's an awesome streaming service. It really is.
I started out, doing ESPN games. I would get 2 a year. Well, with this ESPN Plus, it's opened up. So now people that want to have vested interest in, all right, I want to go to a Coastal Carolina game. I can't go, so I want to watch it. There's no way I can watch anywhere else. You go to ESPN Plus, and bam, it's right there. You know,
and
you
y'all
want to see
have
a hot
smart
game from
TVs,
there.
Right?
Oh
We
yeah,
have smart TVs. It's so easy to use.
And now I'm going to get it starting in January because they've now partnered with PGA Tour Live. They've all brought it all together.
It's brilliant.
So now you get there's a certain fee you pay for a month, like maybe $6.99 or whatever a month. You're going to get ESPN Plus, PGA Tour Live, and then you can even upgrade that to like I think $13.99, and you'll get Hulu and the Disney streaming along with all that.
Yeah.
That's starting in January.
And that is well worth it.
It is.
Because, like, as sports fans, like, I think we've all changed as sports fans. And the way we've changed is, you know, we like what we like. And this notion of 4 for 4, I think, has always been BS. But we like what we like, and we want to consume as much of the things that we're really passionate about more than anything. And now with, you know, podcasts and with ESPN Plus and the way that they're servicing specific sports fans is awesome.
Yeah.
Because you can get so much of it. I think it educates fans. It makes them more passionate about their product, and they just give them more because there's no tipping point of you're giving me too much, because if you are, I can just back out. I don't have to consume it because it's the only thing. So I think it's done a great job. And that's what I love about like shows like this. Like we're not beholden to worrying about some guy getting in his car. He's in his car for an average of 8.5 minutes. So you got to repeat.
Right.
Like if they're watching you on demand or, you know, on something live stream like this, you know that they're there for a reason, and they're there because they want you to give them what their expectation is. And I think that's awesome.
Oh, it is, man. I mean, look, you can watch the middle, you can pause it, come back to it later. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, that's what it's all about.
We can't change their lives. Like we got to stop thinking, oh, we're so important because you're on the air that we can change people's lives. BS. My life's not going to change. But if I can go back and watch episodic stuff like this and good content, and if the content's good, that's what's awesome for the audience. Like when I don't feel like dealing with sports, I got into these true crime podcasts. And I listen to these like 45-minute true crime podcasts. Like, what the hell's wrong with me?
Well, you're into this Formula One too.
Let me tell you about Formula One. And I'll tell you why I'm into it. Because it never gives me the finger. It never disappoints me.
Really?
Does not.
Every
Philadelphia
week
sports disappoints me greatly.
Right.
You know?
You watch that stuff, man.
Do you have like a certain driver and he's always good, or like do you just love it all?
Good.
Like you do.
I love it all, but I have a driver. It's Max Verstappen.
Verstappen?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got Lewis, man.
The Flying Dutchman, huh? You got Lewis Hamilton?
Lewis Hamilton, man. And just watching the cars, man, you know, and like not necessarily the race, but everything that leads up to the race, I love that. Everything leads up to the race. I don't necessarily watch the race, but watching the you know, when they're trying to qualify. And all,
oh yeah,
all
Barrett's all in the cars. I would figure he would like the Formula.
Barrett, in F1 parlance, qualifying is called quali.
Quali.
Yeah.
Okay.
Quali. But no, it's incredible, and I think the sport and F1 does such a good job at two things: educating their fans. And like when we watch sports, we always want to go like, what's it like to be the quarterback? And they've tried the helmet cam, but it doesn't really work.
No.
But in Formula One, they have the cockpit cam. They have the camera that's on the top of the car.
Unbelievable.
They put you in the seat. And when you watch like Max Verstappen last week at Jeddah in Saudi Arabia in the qualifying lap, at an average lap speed of 159 miles an hour on a street course, literally coming within millimeters of walls to get every millisecond in quali that he could get. I mean, the other drivers are watching it and they're like, oh my God, like they're freaking out, the commitment that the guy had.
Right.
They called it until turn 27 when he hit the wall, the greatest lap in the history of Formula One. I mean, it was unreal.
So he was committed to his line into the turn.
And it's a new track.
Commitment. Yeah.
Sometimes you're racing around literally houses and going in tunnels that people drove to work in
Monaco.
a couple hours earlier.
Right. Yeah. Like in Monaco, you go underneath the underpass, and like at Monaco, like they will like millimeters get so close to the wall at 145 miles an hour that's what they have to do. These guys are such great drivers. And they're going into the final race this weekend. They're tied at an absolute dead heat. 369.5 points to 369.5 points. Hamilton's trying to set a new record to win his 8th world title and beat Michael Schumacher. And Verstappen is trying to win his first. He's like the young gun. And it's been unreal. It's been unbelievable to watch week in and week out. And, you know, I love the English because they don't say weekend. They say weekend.
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 Yeah. The weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. So everybody on the Golf
race
Channel
weekend.
speaks that way, too.
Yeah.
The weekend.
It's unbelievable, man.
Yeah.
You know, I'm watching and you watching from that helmet cam. I mean, not the helmet cam and inside the pit.
Yeah.
And you see, they're only watching it from this much. This much they can see out of this much.
Yep.
And they are so damn close to everything, man. And they're flying, hauling ass. And you're looking at how can they do that stuff, man?
Yeah.
I mean,
They're
it's
such great drivers. I mean, they're literally sitting in like a lounge chair too in the cockpit. Like they sit like this, like their feet are up like this high.
Right.
They sit like that. It's crazy.
It's like how I used to ride my old Harley. I had the forward controls on it, man. I was just like
kick back half
with the straight bars. It was like you're on a rocking chair, like a lounge chair. Yeah.
And then the steering wheel, it only turns like this.
Right.
Oh yeah, there's not much. Yeah.
You know, when they do turn like this, it's crazy, you know, because it's unbelievable.
It's a go-kart.
I'd be scared to death.
Yeah. That's called steering saturation.
What?
The amount that you turn the wheel is determined by the steering saturation.
Saturation.
Yeah.
Wow.
If you have a high saturation, you can turn the wheel more. If you have low, it's just boom like this.
Very
it's
tight.
Like that. Yeah. It's unreal. But
and wasn't there some reality show that you watched, a Formula One reality show? What was that called?
Drive to Survive. It's on Netflix. They're going to have season 4 coming up, which will chronicle this season, which I haven't been a tremendous amount of time, but I've learned a lot about the history of it and everything. But they're saying this is the greatest championship battle in the history of Formula One.
Did you watch that, Barrett? The Drive to Survive?
I just wrote it down.
Okay.
Now.
Yeah.
I'm about to download it so I can watch it.
It's on Netflix. It's so good because you don't realize the drama that goes on behind the scenes. Like the one guy who runs Red Bull Racing is a guy named Christian Horner. They're called Team Principal. He's married to a Spice Girl.
Okay.
And these guys are like stars.
Yeah.
Right.
And
they're like the soccer players all over the world. They're rock stars.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. And like Lewis Hamilton makes $78 million a year. There's huge money in this. And the teammates often have the worst relationship because they're both driving the same exact car, but one guy's doing better than the other.
Yeah.
So it's wild, and there's a lot of drama. And watch Drive to Survive because you'll see great just footage of what it's like to be in these cars, and it's incredible.
How many seasons is it?
There's
3 in the can, and the 4th one will come out probably around March.
Okay.
Look at this, Harry. Schumacher, before he retired, was making $98 million a year.
Wow.
Yeah.
They were making. He drove for Ferrari, and they made him his own custom made Ferrari. Everything on it was his.
Yeah.
So what are the other manufacturers like McLaren? Is Honda involved in that?
Honda's the power unit for Red Bull Racing and another team as well. Yeah, they're back in it. They're pulling
Renault,
out.
all
Renault.
those.
Yeah, Renault.
Really? Renault? Wow.
Renault's the Alpine.
Not the
team.
Renault winery.
No, Renault is. It was just known as Renault prior to this season, but now it's called the Alpine team. But they're a French team, obviously, and when you look back,
Peugeot in there.
Nah,
Peugeot.
No Peugeot. But Alain Prost is involved in the Renault Alpine team, the great Formula One driver. Senna and Prost, all those battles years ago. So, but I've gone back and watched all the old races because I have the F1 TV app, and I never watched it before. So I just Googled 100 greatest Formula One races, and I go back and just watch them, and I have no idea who wins. It's great.
Cool.
I'll go back to 06 in Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi.
Oh man! All right,
Rubens Barrichello.
I might have to watch this. Barrett's going to watch it too. So
I'm going to download on my phone
you
so I can watch
love it. You both would love it. And again, the sport has never given me the finger.
Right. Okay.
It delivers all the time. Yeah.
Good stuff. I know some people on the stream are excited about it too.
Yeah.
So,
I can't believe that people haven't watched it.
Some people have.
Yeah.
I'm sure they have.
Adam wants me to do some Ange and Al. I don't do Al.
No. Al doesn't talk.
No,
he doesn't say. He doesn't say anything.
Isn't that right now?
Ow!
Yeah. All right, Jason. We appreciate you jumping on, man.
If I end up doing Ange on here, it ends up on his show.
Well, that's right. That's right. There's nothing wrong with that. It's good publicity.
There's guys doing me and giving me publicity from the outside. It's perfect.
Rear.
I thought it would be horrible.
All right.
All right, boys.
We'll see you.
See you.
Appreciate you,
he
bro.
says the Flyers are going to win tonight against the Devils. So, you get them at plus money. I'm certain about that. They're not a favorite. All right. We'll be back. Mike Gill after 3 minutes. Don't go anywhere.
At Stateside Vodka, every new customer gets the world's best rocks glass, free.
What's that?
A rocks glass?
You're telling me that bottle is cut in half?
You could say that.
Holy shit. Glass is for cocktails, right?
It's for this, this, and that.
Is the length of the glass equal to your...
You betcha.
But is it made out of...
Glass?
Yeah, okay, but is the rip...
Smooth?
Will you stop doing...
That?
I'm the professional here.
And you're telling me I can get one of these glasses for free?
That's right. One free rocks glass per customer with each first-time purchase of Stateside Vodka. All from the company that's highly awarded. 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and deliciously tasting vodka. So good, it just disappears.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
When it comes to the fight against insurance companies, large corporations, and the healthcare industry, injured victims are always the underdog. But that doesn't worry us. At Messa & Associates, we're an injury law firm from Philadelphia, and we come to fight. Our clients know that they've got representation with a chip on its shoulder, and it's the same chip that makes Philly the toughest city in the country. Call 215-568-3500 or visit us online at messalaw.com. Messa & Associates, the toughest injury firm in Philadelphia.
Go for the midnight dares. Go for the game. Go for the hits. Go for the fans. Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
Welcome back in. Final half hour of the
Mikey.
show. Thanks to Jason Martinez for jumping on, but we're going to finish the show with a flurry here. Okay, we're going out with one of our favorite guys, and I don't know if we've ever had him on the show because, he obviously is Mr. Atlantic City,
right?
And there was at a time there was a competitive signal down there, so we couldn't get him on, but now we can get him on, and he is the man at 97.3 ESPN, and he happened to write something that caught my attention. You can get it at 973ESPN.com. It's about Minshew, and it says, Minshew Mania is a lot like the holiday season. Now, you put a headline like that up, you are going to get my attention. And I went through and read the whole thing, and it was absolutely brilliant. So I thought we'd bring Mr. Gill on here to talk about it.
You call me brilliant, Harry.
Yes.
That's a step up in this world for me.
Absolutely. It was brilliant. Hey, I call it like I see it. It was great, man. You went through there, and I thought your comparison was spot on. In fact, we talked about it in the first hour of the show, where you compared sort of Minshew with Fitzpatrick, Fitzmagic. And I think you're exactly right about that.
Yeah, I mean, look, the way I kind of break it down is, Jalen Hurts he was like the most popular guy in the city. Remember, his jersey sales were out the roof. People were going nuts for this guy. He threw 3 touchdowns, and the narrative the next day was, well, it was only the Falcons.
It's only I said that.
Right? Well, so Minshew comes in and he puts up this huge game, and nobody's saying, well, it was only the Jets.
I did.
Well, you're a smart man.
Immediately.
Yeah. Well, I think most people would. And like I said, it's like the holiday season. It's Halloween. You put a costume on for the day. Then the other 4 weeks that you got to get ready for Thanksgiving, nobody talks about those. And then Thanksgiving comes. If you eat turkey every single night, you're going to get tired of it. Well, the 2 holidays are the Minshew manias. The games he has in between that no one talks about, in the society that we live in, people,
right.
You have highlights. And now you don't even get the highlight show. It's on Twitter. And you'll have somebody going, Minshew Mania. He happens to have an alliteration type of name, so we only remember that. But
right.
You don't remember all the stuff he does in between the Minshew Mania events.
Yeah,
right?
the losses,
right.
The lack of wins. We're talking about a team that didn't win 4 games the past 3 years he was on the team.
Mm-hmm.
And now, he comes in and has 1 game, and boom, he's the next best thing in Philly. You can't think like that, man. And I keep trying to tell people it not even to be on Hurts's bandwagon, but it's literally about the offensive line and who's playing offensive line as opposed to who's playing quarterback for this team right now.
Now, I was one of the few, and I said at the beginning of the year, this team could make the playoffs. I said they could make the playoffs, and my caveat was, if their offensive line stayed together. Barrett, you played offensive line. I would imagine that if you guys could play all 17 games together for all season long, you feel like you have a good thing going. This team think about this. This team could have 4 Pro Bowl offensive linemen this year. I mean, realistically, Johnson could possibly make it. Kelsey's going to make it. Right. Dickerson could make it. Mailata could make it. 4 guys. If that offensive line plays together, I said they could probably make the playoffs because when you have a good offensive line, you can be competitive. You can keep games close, be competitive, slow games down. They did it the other day. They ran the ball. Basically, they took the ball away from the Jets for the entire third quarter.
Yeah. They had 3 plays, I think the Jets did in that quarter.
And basically, this team is predicated on running the football. So, yeah, Minshew had a great game, but everything did you see it? They had 14 catches from the tight end or the running back.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they had 14 catches from the tight end and the running back all season. They had it in 1 week last week.
They game planned it, man. I was just saying it. They game planned that. They wanted to execute an offense where they wanted to get their best players, their most explosive players, the ball. And you look at it, that's what Goddard and Sanders are.
I will say Minshew, when he was in Jacksonville, I think Fournette, who had like 77 catches 1 year when he was down there. But, all I hear about Hurts is he doesn't have a great arm. He can't air it out. He doesn't throw the ball down the field. The throw that Minshew made to Goddard, he had to stop at the 10-yard line to wait for it to get to him. The Jets were so bad that nobody was near him. He could stop, catch the ball, turn, and still score before any Jet came close to him. So, look, I like Minshew, but if he didn't have a Fu Manchu, a bomber jacket, and a mullet, we probably are like, this guy's just an average guy.
Right.
But he's just such a likable character that we're ready to turn the keys over. Look, there's a reason he was drafted in the 6th round. There's a reason he went to 3 colleges. And there's a reason he got traded for a conditional 6th-round pick. He's a fun, quirky guy. But are you telling me that this guy is the difference maker between the Eagles being what they are and going to the Super Bowl?
No.
Doubtful.
No. The problem is, and as somebody put it very eloquently on the stream, Big Chris says the problem is we have 2 backup quarterbacks and not a franchise quarterback.
He might be right. We don't know what Hurts is, but, I think Hurts, I thought he took a huge step in the Denver game and then a huge step back in the Giant game, obviously. Now, look, you're not going to play your best game week in and week out. It just doesn't happen. But I really thought we were seeing Hurts kind of take a step forward. So it was so disappointing to see him take a step back. And then, I mean, it just coupled with his worst game comes, and this guy Minshew comes in. It's just a perfect storm of people asking questions. But, you know, Hurts has 4 games of over 100 quarterback rating and 1 game with 95. I mean, for whatever numbers those mean, somebody thinks he's pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know how they determine those numbers, but they are what they are.
I don't know how you determine them either.
And that said, the bad game that he had and Hurts was awful against the Giants. If Rager makes one catch, where it's an ugly win.
You know what, though, guys? I think that's something, and I brought that up on my show, is I thought he played his worst game that I've ever seen him play. But it's like the NBA player who's 3 for 18, but he hits the dagger in the corner as the game is on the line. He stepped up, had his worst game, and said, I'm going to shoot my shot, and he threw 2 passes right to the guy's hands.
Right.
It's disturbing, man. And
it's like Danny Green.
And I go through it all the time, even with our fans, because I'm a fan. And I go through it all the time that, all right, the same thing make you laugh, make you cry. You have a player that could virtually go out there and win you games in the fourth quarter, but he can also throw you out of games in the second quarter. But he can still have enough to win the game in the fourth quarter because he's that dynamic of a player, period. You know what I'm saying? Well, he's going to get the crucial first down. He can run for a first down. He can even throw for a first down. But it's all about him being more of a – if you want to be more of a packer passer, this is not your guy. If you want him to be a quarterback that can win games, he is your guy.
Well, the interesting question here is, Hurts, when he came in last year, it was, this guy's a tremendous leader. Universally, everybody said that. Well, now you have a bunch of guys saying, man, this guy Minshew's a character. We really like. Yeah. So is there a divide of some people like this character Minshew? People really like, Hurts is a pretty serious, stoic guy, man.
He is. Yeah.
But it sounded like the one thing, hey, maybe he doesn't have a great arm. Maybe he's not the most accurate guy. But, man, he is a leader. Well, do you have a faction that wants him to be the leader? Do you have a faction that wants the character in Minshew? That's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
I just want a guy that's accurate. That's all. I don't care if his personality's stoic or if
character doesn't win games, though.
Yeah.
Well, Barrett, guys pick sides. I don't know. Maybe the center and the left side of the line like Hurts because they run the ball more. Well, maybe the right side of the line likes Minshew more because he's a little bit more accurate of a throw. Who knows? They both have personalities that are likable, though. That's the big thing here. So, like you said, Harry, they might just have 2 backup quarterbacks.
Right.
It's frustrating, man.
But
it's really frustrating.
I don't really see anybody in this draft that makes me want to expend a first-round pick on.
I agree with that. If you have 3 picks, and I'm a West Virginia guy, so I can't take.
You can't take Pickett.
No, he's out
principle
already for me. Yep, he's out of the mix. So no, if I'm the Eagles, I am keeping my 3 picks. And look, I go with Hurts, and I have Minshew still signed for another year. I go with these 2 guys again. Right, cheap backup. And just keep adding more talent. This team is already – look, Justin Herbert, I think everybody listening would take Justin Herbert, right? He's phenomenal.
Absolutely.
They're 7-5. They can't get out of their own way. So, like, getting this mythical quarterback that just doesn't exist, it's not the be-all, end-all sometimes. Just get a lot of talent, put it together, get a good game plan. The Eagles won a Super Bowl with Nick Foles, all right? Just put the talent together. You have guys, you can find somebody that can make a deal. Somebody wants to get out. There's a guy you find.
Right. There's some stat that Xander put up a tweet earlier in the show. Barrett and I were blown away by it. That the Eagles, as a franchise, are like 40-18 with the backup quarterback.
40-18 when the backup quarterback plays. I did see that. And it just goes to show how much they value that position. It's when they drafted Jalen Hurts, people questioned. I said, they value the backup quarterback more than they do their starting safety.
Yeah.
Right?
That's in a nutshell.
Yeah.
And it's something that's, always been something that they do. They always value the backup quarterback. Even when I was playing, the backup quarterback.
You look at a team like Dallas, if Dak Prescott goes down, their season's in the toilet, right?
Yes.
They're done.
Yes.
So the Eagles, as much as Howie Roseman takes hit and hit and hit, they've quietly rebuilt this roster with some young players that can play. And they still, good teams value the backup quarterback. The move to get Minshew was the mark of a well-run team. like it or not.
Right. Absolutely. And they understand that. Just like they value offensive linemen even as high as first and second round. They're going to draft offensive linemen. This year, I can't see them using all 3 picks this year. I think they're going to trade this pick to acquire another first-round pick for next year's draft.
We talked about that yesterday, Barrett. Is they have 3 picks this year. They've all kind of fallen after 10. Does Roseman try to trade them to picks for next year's draft and add more picks in next year's draft?
Maybe get Bryce Young, baby.
So then you get another year to look at. You get another year to look at your 2 quarterbacks that you have here. You have more draft capital for next season. But look, if they get 2, look what Dallas did with just Parsons. Just getting him, how that changed the complexion of that team.
Diggs and Parsons.
And Diggs the year before, and now Parsons.
Yep.
Just you got to, man.
Would the NBA version of Minshew Mania be Linsanity?
Somebody texted that to my show the other day. Minshew Mania is Linsanity. But Minshew Mania, like, he has had some, like, he's got 39 touchdowns and 11 interceptions.
That's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Is he a product of a bad Jacksonville team? I mean, is this guy, he was drafted in the 6th round. I don't know. Maybe he's Tom Brady.
Well, Alabama wanted him. You know that, right? You know that.
Well, he's from Mississippi. He went to Mississippi Community College.
Yeah, like a JUCO.
And then he ended up at East Carolina.
ECU. I did a game against Temple that he quarterbacked in.
Well, he was splitting time with a kid from Duke. They were splitting some time there. And then he got off on he threw for like 300 plus yards for like the last 4 games. He then was a grad student.
Right.
He brushing your beard over there?
Yeah, he does this all the time. He does this all the time.
Solid.
Yeah.
And then he transferred out. Basically, Leach says, "You're the perfect guy. I got an offense for you. Come on out here." So he's a grad student. He goes out to Washington State. And that's nobody even heard of this guy until he went to Washington.
Right. That was apparently when Alabama offered him as a grad student to come in for 1 year, and he ended up going with Leach out in Washington State.
Right. And then he basically broke all their records out there. But even with that, I mean, he becomes a 6th-round pick. He goes to Jacksonville. And look, he stepped right in there right away. And from week 1, it was Minshew Mania. He had a big first game of his career. And then he kind of came back to earth. And then like week 5, I looked at this yesterday. I don't know this off the top of my head. But
you do now.
Week 1, he had a big game.
Right.
Well, then he had like 3-4 okay games. And then week 5, Minshew Mania was back. And this is what I'm talking about. It's like the holiday season. Every 4 weeks, he has this game where you're like, Minshew Mania. But we're in a society where, like, I went on vacation to North Carolina. I was in the Outer Banks in August. And
he gets a lot of vacation, Barrett, this guy.
Yeah, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it feels like it was 2 weeks ago. Well, here it's 3.5 months ago. That's what I'm talking about with this Minshew Mania. Like, you feel like it happens every week, but it's really like every 3 or 4 weeks.
Okay.
Right.
Harry, I was at the East Carolina Navy game a couple weeks ago.
Oh, yeah?
And I'm going to the Military Bowl because my girlfriend went to East Carolina.
Oh, they play Boston College in that game, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
You love that stadium. I've done games down there at Navy. That's a great spot.
Yes.
Yeah,
I went there. I was there 3 weeks ago, I guess. And then, so East Carolina played Navy. We went to the game, and now East Carolina's in the Military Bowl. So we're going back just to tailgate and stuff.
Right. Nice.
Well, I did an East Carolina game in that stadium. That's a nice stadium. And I also did a game in that
yeah, I've done there
stadium.
too.
And it's a nice stadium also.
Dowdy Ficklin Stadium.
Correct.
So how do you get all this vacation time and all that stuff? Because me and Harry, we never get a vacation.
We work every day.
Yeah.
Well, I'm the boss.
Oh,
all right,
okay. Well, there it is.
That's true.
Yeah. And I've worked here for so long that you accumulate, like, for every year you're here, you get like another week's vacation, and then they cap you off. So I'm like at the max of I think I have
10 weeks.
No, I think the max is 6 weeks.
Okay.
So I have 6.
I had 6 weeks at the old place. I parlayed that into 6 weeks before I left.
Yeah, well,
it's good work.
Because they don't want to pay any more money, you just keep getting more.
Right. That's exactly what I said.
Hey, can I have a raise? We can't do that. Well, can I take more days off? Sure, go ahead. Right? That's what happened.
Hey, Mike, let me ask you this, man. You still stay in the same place, man?
No, I don't live. Me and my girlfriend, we own a place together.
Oh, congrats, man! Because I was telling everybody about when I went to your house, and you're like, "You been to Gil's house?" I'm like, "Yeah, I've been to his house, man." So he lived in a penthouse. How we had to catch the elevator upstairs.
Yeah.
The view overlooking the ocean, man. I was like, big time, man. Playboy, man. Big time guy.
I lived on the 18th floor of the 5,000 Boardwalk building in Ventnor.
Wow.
So my view of the entire island of Atlantic City. And Barrett came to my house, and the guy at the front desk, I mean, he was like, "Oh, are you bringing Barrett back over?" Like, he would ask me every single day as if Barrett was like coming over every single day. He came to a birthday party. That's what happened.
Wow.
They were surprised that I knew where you lived. I'm like, yeah, man. He had a nice crib and everything, man.
Yeah. No, I live in an actual house now. I got a house.
Now, when are you going to make this official?
That's a good question, man.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
I'm on vacation so much. We're just living life.
Right.
I'm going to Croatia.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
For what?
To do what?
I'm going to Croatia in July. Just vacationing, man.
Really?
Yeah, we have a house in Florida. We went down there, but the person who lives next door to us, their place flooded our place out. So now the insurance is getting involved. They got to fix it. So we typically go to the Florida house this time of the year.
Right.
But since we're not doing that this year, we're looking for. We're like, you know what? So I coach baseball. You know,
Yeah.
My team won the World Series.
I remember that. I congratulated you for that on Twitter.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Harry.
Yeah.
Barrett didn't.
I didn't know.
We won the World Series, so I was out a lot this summer. I was in Jamestown, New York, home of Nick Sirianni.
Oh, that's right.
He's a
is there a statue for him up there?
You know, it's funny. I was at this establishment. I went to college. I did college radio with a guy who happens to live in Jamestown.
Okay.
I haven't talked to him in 20 years. I reached out to him on Facebook. We meet up at this bar, and he says, you know, Nick Sirianni is from Jamestown. I said, you don't say, right? So he's telling me the whole story of this guy about he's a high school this and that and that. So I was up there. I was out a lot. So next year I'm not coaching, going to Croatia.
Wow.
Bro. So I just look up Croatia. Croatia is nice, man.
Oh yeah. It is a private cruise. There's only 15 people on the boat.
Wow. How did you get that?
I'm very
Who
private.
do you know?
Wow.
I'm a very private individual.
Jeez.
I live on the 18th floor penthouse. How do you think I got that? Boat ride?
Wow. That's some good stuff. All right, real quick, where are you with this Ben Simmons thing? Are you about as fed up with it as we are, and would wish that Morey, after the 15th of December, makes a deal?
Well, I'm not a Ben Simmons hater. I'm sorry. So I'm on the Ben Simmons. Look, he's frustrating as all hell. But the way I see it is you can't just trade Ben Simmons for 3 Jamokes. I mean,
no.
What are you going to do? Like, you're going to get 3 guys who are Shake Milton, Danny Green. I mean, they tried that before. They traded Charles Barkley for 3 jackasses. I mean, that was terrible. So I know people just say you just got to get anything. Getting anything, all it does is make the rotations harder. You can't get 3 guys who are similar to the guys you already have. So unfortunately, they're in a spot. I understand they need talent. They got to get something. But they might just have to let him rot and sit there for the year.
Oh, wow. Oh, and waste a year of Joel Embiid.
Well, I can tell you this. From what I've been told, they are not interested in, all the stuff that's been out there. They have no interest in Jeremy Grants of the world.
No, neither do I.
Right. They have no interest in CJ McCollum. Look, I know people are frustrated with Ben. He doesn't shoot. He doesn't do this. He was historically bad for whatever reason in those playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Sixers are banking that he could be back to a 65, 70% free throw shooter. They would have swept the Hawks if he just shot his percentage of the regular season. Now, that whole thing with his sister and that thing, that was all kind of happening right around this time. That was a shady story. You know that?
No, what?
The whole thing with his brother, his sister, his real sister.
Yeah.
You guys didn't hear the story?
No. What is this?
His real sister and his shooting coach brother, who I think is his half-brother, the sister had claimed that the brother had molested her.
Oh, yeah. I did see that. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So that was all going on during the playoff time, and he just didn't want to talk about it. I got to imagine he's got to choose between his real sister, who he's very close with, and his brother, who's his shooting coach. He's got to be the
shooting coach isn't doing a good job, so I would choose the sister.
Right.
Okay.
I'm not debating that, but he's got to make a decision on who am I supporting in this whole mess.
Yeah.
Now, she sued. It went to court in Australia. and she never showed. So he ended up winning the case.
Oh boy.
So this all happened while the playoffs were going on.
Wow. She's
So
kind of a doozy.
Mental a little bit, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that was apparent though. They said that in his documentary when he was still at LSU, in that documentary he had.
Yeah.
So
my whole thing all along with Simmons is, and look, I like Simmons. I appreciate what he does. I'm frustrated that he doesn't do more, but I have said from day one, there is only one issue here. He has mental health issues. If everybody at the end of the Hawks series said something's mentally wrong with him, the problem is he didn't want to admit that he had mental health issues. So the fact that he says he has mental health issues, people don't want to believe him, but the same people were saying something's mentally wrong with this guy. There's only one answer. Something had to be mentally wrong with him to shoot 30% from the free throw line.
Mike,
Right?
Mike, when you don't shoot, when a point guard that's only 6 foot is coming to block your shot and you freeze up like that because you don't want to get fouled, it's got to be something mentally wrong with you, bro.
So I think most people would if he just said 3 days after, look, I'm having some mental health issues. I need to get it worked on. I need to talk. I think 100% of Sixers fans would say, yes, of course you do. We just saw it unfold. But the fact that he didn't say it until later, it makes it look bad. And look, I agree. It makes it look like it's a money grab.
Yeah. Some people use that as a crutch now, because it's a get out of jail free card.
Sure.
So,
but
you know what?
I was to say to you, Harry, something can't be mentally right with him the way he played in that series. Wouldn't you say, yeah, obviously he's got mental problems?
Well, there's mental problems, and then there's just like you're afraid.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's one of the mental problems now is like, oh my God, you just got to go get help. Like,
do we have from his past of him just being flat out afraid? He has played poorly because teams have defended him in certain ways, but he never shot.
Even in that Boston series a couple years ago, when he passed back out. I mean, he's always had this. He doesn't want to fail.
He
doesn't want to
shot 30% from the free throw line, though.
I mean, you can lose confidence too, and it's not necessarily a mental health issues. You know what I'm saying?
Right. There's a difference between
his rookie year or his first year, whatever, the first year they made the playoffs. He shot from the free throw line in that Miami series. I think it was like 75%. I mean, he almost averaged a triple-double in that Miami series that first year he was in the playoffs, like 2017, 18, something like that. So for him to be where he was in the playoffs, forget the regular season, he had that series against Miami, and to be where he got to last year, something ain't right. So I would be inclined. Look, I just don't know that he ever wants to play here again.
Well, that's true.
We already know that.
Yeah.
We already know. He already said to fans he can't play in front of these fans.
Well, that's what I said. I said, look, this isn't about anything else other than he knows that he cannot face these people because he knows his game has not evolved at all.
Right.
I can't go back with the same gimmick again.
And that's on him.
100%.
Yeah, that's on him.
100%.
All right, this was great, Mike. We appreciate you jumping on, man. Listen to his show, 97.3. He's great. And he goes to Sixers games you go to every game, don't you?
I haven't. I went to a Memphis game this year as a fan. That was it. I haven't been up much this year, man.
I thought you went to the preseason games too.
I did during the process years a lot.
Oh,
I went to a lot of process years games. I love those process years, man.
Well, hey, Mike, I'm glad that you were able to reaffirm that I was at your house because a lot of people on the stream didn't believe
Barrett Brooks was at my house.
He was there. I was not, and neither was Eitan. Okay, let's put that on the record.
Eitan has not. Eitan called me the other day. Actually,
did he?
Yeah, I got a text. Normally, when I see Eitan's name come up on my text, I'm like, oh Christ! Some random babble about something that I have nothing to do with, just trying to egg somebody on to get them to answer. But it was an actual legit question.
It was? Okay, good.
Somewhat, yeah.
Did you answer said question?
I called. We actually spoke on the phone.
Oh, okay, good.
He left. Once you guys left me here, I never heard from him again. I got axed from the wedding list. I got axed from the baby list. I was out.
You're out. And now you're back in.
I did have a nice pastrami on rye the other day, H. Mays.
That's what everybody on the stream was asking. Like, what's for lunch? What's your sandwich today?
I had lost 65 pounds and gained them all back like a jerk.
Oh. What, from IPAs?
Nah, I went to the light IPAs. You know what happened? I was coaching the baseball team, and just traveling, living in hotels, late games, eating late. And, you know, you're doing the keto, and then all of a sudden one day turns into the next day, and then the next day, and then it just crashes. And then you're like, you know.
Sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the voice still sounds good. That's what's important.
You got them pipes, bro. You got them pipes.
Yeah.
Well, it's great to see you guys and your tremendous audience out there.
Good to have you, man. Thanks for jumping on.
Appreciate you, bro.
Have a great holiday season. There he is, the great Mike Gill, 97.3 ESPN. All right, Barrett. I think we've about exhausted the day. What do you got on tap for the rest of the day? You working on a car, or what do you? Oh no, you're going to Restaurant Depot, right, to get your wings.
Got to go get the wings, man. I'll go to Restaurant Depot, man. But I gotta. I actually have to take in my suit, man. So I gotta. I gotta take in my suit. So I gotta go
to the
get
tailor.
that measured out. Yeah. I need a suit for this weekend, so I need it by tomorrow. So I'm gonna go out there and let them do it real fast.
All right. And what game do you got again this weekend?
Colorado School of Mines.
Oh, that's right, Valdosta State.
At Valdosta State.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, we'll talk at you tomorrow. Stay tuned for Big Sills, Birds 365, everything here on the JAKIB Media YouTube channel. We'll be back tomorrow.
At Stateside Vodka, every new customer gets the world's best rocks glass, free.
What's that?
A rocks glass?
You're telling me that bottle is cut in half?
You could say that.
Holy shit. Glass is for cocktails, right?
It's for this, and that.
Is the length of the glass equal to your...
You betcha.
But is it made out of...
Glass?
Yeah, okay, but is the rip...
Smooth?
Will you stop doing...
That?
I'm the professional here.
And you're telling me I can get one of these glasses for free?
That's right. One free rocks glass per customer with each first-time purchase of Stateside Vodka. All from the company that's highly awarded. 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and deliciously tasting vodka. So good, it just... disappears.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
When it comes to the fight against insurance companies, large corporations, and the healthcare industry, injured victims are always the underdog. But that doesn't worry us. At Messa & Associates, we're an injury law firm from Philadelphia, and we come to fight. Our clients know that they've got representation with a chip on its shoulder, and it's the same chip that makes Philly the toughest city in the country. Call 215-568-3500 or visit us online at messalaw.com. Messa & Associates, the toughest injury firm in Philadelphia.
Go for the midnight dares. Go for the game. Go for the hits. Go for the fans. Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.